Good afternoon. I'm Jacob Reimer. The Ohio State football team now knows their opponent for the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Eve. They will take on Miami after the Hurricanes beat Texas A&M on Saturday 10-3. Oregon, Alabama, and Ole Miss were the other three teams that advanced to the college football playoff quarterfinals that will be played on New Year's Day. Ohio State basketball, they fell to number 12 North Carolina on Saturday in the CBS Sports Classic 71-70. Head coach Jake Diebler holds his weekly coaches show here at noon. The Buckeyes look to bounce back tomorrow as they host Grambling State. Tip-off from the Shot is at 2 o'clock, and coverage can be found right here on the Fan starting at 1 o'clock. In the NHL, the Columbus Blue Jackets are on the road tonight visiting the Los Angeles Kings. Face-off is at 10 o'clock with coverage beginning here on the Fan at 9:30. And in the NFL, Browns running back Quinshon Judkins will miss the remainder of the season after he left Sunday's game with a dislocated ankle and fractured fibula.
From Learfield, this is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with Coach Jake Diebler and former Ohio State captain Ron Stokes, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
And thanks for joining us each and every Monday for our weekly get-together with Ohio State coach Jake Diebler. After the weekend in Atlanta, 71-70 setback at the hands of North Carolina. There's the obvious disappointment, Jake, but I know there's got to be some things you can look at trying to find a silver lining to build on moving forward from that game.
Yeah, listen, we put ourselves in position to win while really struggling to make shots. And I think that says a lot about the improvement we've made in some other areas. Getting to the free throw line, defensively. But, they're really at this level, right? There's no moral victories. There's no there isn't really silver lining. It's evaluating what you did right, evaluating what you didn't do right, and then, being certainly disappointed and frustrated and angry that we lost. But in basketball, you got to move on really quickly. And so, Sunday was a new day, and we had to turn the page because we're playing a good Grambling team who's got a ton of momentum right now. They are a good team. They will be competing for a league championship this year, and they got momentum coming into our gym. So we had to learn, certainly, but we had to turn the page too.
Well, some of my questions about this specific game is part of the Union Home Mortgage inbox, so I might as well give these guys some credit because I want to jump into this, Paul. Is that okay?
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. Now, this is about the end of game, Coach, and this is coming from Jim in Cleveland. Not blaming anyone specifically, but what was the fundamental error that occurred with Carolina's press at the end that led to Ohio State's turnover? That is from Jim in Cleveland.
Yeah. I think we got time in this segment to dissect this, right?
Yes.
So
Your show.
Here's, two things can be true. Even, Ron, and you know this because you played, two things can be true in the same possession. You can execute great, right, and not execute great in the same possession. So it started off, we executed our press break exactly how we wanted to. We had our three options available. Tilly got the ball. We executed the first trap well. Got the ball out of the first trap well. After that was where we started to have the breakdown. So we played a little sped up, instead of, right, knowing, which we knew. We talk about, out of timeouts every kind of last 2 minutes, how many timeouts we have, where the possession arrow is, whose favorite is. We talk about all that. But, in those moments, it's just a lot happening. I think we forgot that. We started to dribble, played sped up, and then left our feet, which is a big no-no. And
you only got so many seconds, you got to come down.
And then we regain possession and then kind of play sped up again. So, this is the challenging part. We work on that stuff all the time, and I think there's a lot of moving parts. Certainly, players on the floor can call timeout. I'm trying to call timeout, and it just, we didn't execute the back end of it. We executed the start of the possession great, exactly like we wanted to do. We didn't execute the back end of the possession like we wanted to, and it cost us.
When you look at that situation, Coach, I had the luxury of watching some of your game prep, and their press was paramount. You guys talked about it during your work the day before the game. What are some of the things that makes that press tough? I know their length. Obviously, you got an All-American potential and Caleb Wilson right at the front of that press. What are some of the things that make that press so difficult to get out of those traps and move forward?
Yeah, well, I think they do have, size, athleticism. And I think in those moments, like you got to be really tough with the ball because, typically it's physical, and I think for us, it looked like we played more, after we got through the initial trap instead of playing, to get fouled, right? We were kind of running from the foul, and that was a mistake, in that moment when you have a lead and you got the ball in a great shooter's hands, and so I think. Really, we were prepared for the press. It was kind of as the shot clock started to wind down and that 10-second violation was looming, we started to play we lacked a little bit of poise. And, it's frustrating, it's disappointing, but, I got to believe we're going to be, we're going to handle that situation much better. It's one thing to practice it, right, over and over and over again, but game pressure is different. It's different. There's no way to simulate that in practice, and sometimes you got to go through that in the game to get it right the next time. And that's what I just trust we're going to do.
Coach, just help me to understand this too, because I know that during the potential challenger call, you got support from your bench. Someone's watching the play. Hey, what's the percentages of this winning? I know you've had some success with those in the past, but coming out of that timeout, who's the responsibility like in terms? Because you got a lot on your plate, right? Just recommunicating to the team that, hey, we got one timeout, we got the possession arrow. Just talk about those roles as you're coming out of the timeout, and also to reinforce it to the young players.
Yeah, we have an assistant coach who communicates to me, timeouts and possession. I communicate it to the team. And then we have an assistant coach waiting outside the huddle to communicate it as guys are reinforce it.
Absolutely.
Right, as guys are walking back onto the court as a reminder. So, it's organized, because we do coordinator system. So when we're breaking a press, me and the offensive coordinator, right, are really dialed in. And we have a coach who focuses specifically on knowing their end of game. And then the day of every game, I watch the other teams, all their close game situations over typically the last couple years. And sometimes we go even further back. I even went back and watched, when they got us on the side out of bounds play at Madison Square Garden a few years ago. So you're looking for coaching tendencies, right? You're looking for, in that moment you're kind of like playing the man, right? And sometimes not the cards. And so that's a big part of my prep study. We review that stuff the day before. Assistant coaches give me a feel for what and then I go back and really watch that myself individually that morning, and then again before, kind of in the locker room while the guys are warming up, get another refresher, so it's fresh in my mind what to anticipate. And we got that stuff drawn up. Assistant coach has that, so that we knew what press we were going to see. We had a pretty good idea of what they were going to run when they had the ball, and we had a pretty good idea of what they were going to do defensively when we had the ball back. So you want to be prepared in those moments, because you got to be clear and concise in your delivery to the team. And listen, I think in full transparency, it's an area I've gotten a lot better at with the experience we went through last year. And so, we were ready. Like I said, we were ready, and we had begun that possession with great execution. We just didn't finish the job.
If you have a question for Coach Diebler, you could submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at OhioStateBuckeyes.com and click on Coach's Show inbox, Union Home Mortgage. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You stick to your coast at all costs. You never let traffic stop your drive. You aren't just a dreamer, you're a doer. You power through all of life's hills and valleys without hesitation. You're not looking to be discovered. You've already found your place. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, Buckeye fans, it's Polk Heels for Window Nation. Columbus, did you know you can get 2 free tickets to an upcoming Ohio State football game if you replace all the windows in your home with Window Nation? This month, they're offering 50% off all window styles, plus no payments for 2 whole years. That's right, no down payment, no monthly payments, and no interest until 2027. Get big savings, plus 1-day installation with Window Nation, a proud partner of Ohio State Athletics. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com today.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
Modern Office Methods, your authorized RICO dealer, can help your business optimize your print production with a competitive advantage. Our digital printing options will expand the type of paper and substrates from what your business can print on today. Add variable data capability, which allows for personalization of catalogs and mailers, and the ability for short-run label printing, which allows your business to print high volumes of custom labels quickly and on demand. Want to learn more? Start with a print assessment at momnet.com. Why risk it? You can count on Mom.
At Giant Eagle, we believe in better, and that includes finding more ways to help you save. Because finding a good deal is everyone's deal. Because every dollar and every moment counts. Because value you can count on is priceless. On sale this season at Giant Eagle, you'll find lower prices to the end of the year on favorites like Honeycrisp apples, Oreo cookies, eggs, and more. Giant Eagle, because it matters. Limited time only through 12/31/25. Prices of participation may vary.
New creamy parm pizzas are now at Donato's. A decadent new sauce on 2 delicious new pizzas. Try the crave-worthy chicken veggie parm with roasted chicken, fresh veggies, and that rich creamy parm base. Or the savory bacon spinach parm, where smoky bacon meets fresh spinach for parm pizza perfection. Craving something different? Create your own creamy parm pizza today. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to our show this week, and before we talk more about last Saturday's game, we'll go to our Elk and Elk injury report. And Jake, you talked before Saturday's game about how it was a good thing to have a week between games to get guys just physically a little reset.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Colin getting a little banged up in practice that week, we've been progressing. I think we're, little mid-season things, but nothing major. I think everything we were dealing with there a few weeks ago is we're kind of on the cusp of getting completely over that.
Gotcha. The injury report brought to you by Elk and Elk, serious fans of Ohio State athletics. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Go Bucks. We'll go back now to our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions, and this comes from Gary and Powell. The goal on the final play to get the ball in Bruce Thornton's hands. What did Carolina do to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, so we got a lot of respect for Trimble as a defender, and he did a really good job on Bruce kind of the last couple minutes. Bruce got the ball down to the lane, and he defended him well. In that last play, one, you got to get the ball in bounds, and we knew they were going to be switching, and so we trust Bruce significantly with that. And plus, it took Trimble off from having a chance to be disruptive in the action. So we get the ball in bounds. All right, Tilly catches, kind of first option is to rip drive, or you got Junie flying off, which we felt like because of the way they were going to guard Junie as he flashed towards the ball, he would get an advantage going back away as he chased when that pass was thrown in, which he did. He got an advantage. Now I think we had plenty of time, and he certainly had time to take a dribble, and the way they would have came out aggressively could have been great, but he got a decent look too. If Junie was guarded well, right, the next turn the ball would have traveled towards Bruce. Either Bruce would have started a cut to the rim against their aggressive, kind of denying his catch pressure, and if they took that away, he would have came off a handoff, and then the ball would have been in his hands. Probably you're looking at 2 seconds ish left. So that was, that was the design of the action. It's an action we've worked on really all fall, and like I said, I think it progressed. Junie had a good look. Again, maybe could have taken a dribble. Tilly could have turned and attacked because we had space, but we got the pieces moved in the right way.
Coach, when you look at you have a number of games this year where your team has come back, and that shows some strength. That means you're getting stops and they're executing. What goes all into that? Why your team has been able to do that? The goal is not to be behind by that much, but says something to your team that they have the ability to come back against quality opponents.
Yeah, well, listen, we play hard, we play tough, we fight like that. Like that's who we are. We've really been battling, I think, to play with that level of urgency, right, the whole game. Yeah. I thought we really did better against North Carolina. I mean, the first half was better, certainly, than the previous first half. Mm-hmm. And, there was a stretch where I think we missed the front end of a 1-and-1, miss a wide-open 3 the next possession, then go 1 for 2 from the free throw line, the possession after that.
Right.
And now,
on the 5-minute mark.
Now all of a sudden, right, you're chasing the rest of the half. Yep. If those couple of those possessions, one of those possessions go a little different, it's a 1 or 2 possession game probably the rest of the half, and then maybe you have a chance to tip the scale completely going into the half. So I thought that segment was really important, and we got exactly what we wanted. You got a great free throw shooter at the line, just missed the front end. It happens. Get a good shooter, a wide open look, just missed it, right? And then we get another good free throw shooter at the line again. So that's basketball. I think what I'm proud of our team is like we're not wavering. We're not kind of like we keep going. We keep going. We gotta start making some shots. I think that's been part of it. But I thought against North Carolina we played better throughout most of the game. And even at the end of the half, they hit a 3. We get caught in an overhelp situation. We go down, we execute great, get a wide open look, in the corner for 3. We just missed it. So, like those kind of little, right, one shot here, one shot there, those things, like that's where we're right there. And our guys are working so hard, and we're gonna break through that.
I want to go back to a strategic thing when you were talking about the last play, and with Bruce inbounding the ball, and then the thought of maybe the ball coming back to him. How does the inbounder sometimes become part of what the next option is? And on the other side, defensively, you're always having to be mindful once the inbounder gets the ball inbound to be mindful of what he might do on an action.
Well, I think a lot depends, Paul, right, how much time's on the clock.
Okay.
I think that's, and without completely, I don't want to give everything away that we're going to do, right?
No, but you understand what I mean.
I feel like I've talked in some pretty good detail on some of this stuff already. I think a lot, your ability to include the inbounder, a lot of it depends on how much time's on the clock. I think that's a really, really important part, and we have some specific timing where we kind of will make that part of the layer of the possession or not, depending on how much time's on the clock.
Coach, this is another question coming from the Union Home Mortgage inbox, and this is from Dave in Charleston, and it says that I know it was the same for both teams, all 4 teams, I believe, but how much of an impact, if any, did not being able to shoot in the arena prior to Saturday maybe affect all the team's shooting percentages?
Ron, and I think maybe it's because I played. Listen, when you play in these neutral site events, you play in different arenas. You typically NBA because they're a big stage, right? You play with a different ball. All that stuff is real, but I'm kind of a no excuse guy, Ron. I think, our guys love the game. We recruit guys who love the game. Recruit guys who work really hard. We're just not shooting at the level we need to right now. I don't think getting in the gym, getting out in the gym. We try to get there whenever we can, certainly when it works. But I don't think there's any excuses. We just gotta get it done, and we got to work through it. And what we do though look at is, okay, are we getting enough of the right shots? Are we taking too many? Because we want to play aggressive. We want to be guys have a lot of freedom in how we play. Are we taking too many of the shots that maybe we shouldn't be taking? Like, is that tipping the scales of our efficiency? And I think there's been a little bit of that, and we've talked about that as a team and how we can kind of tilt that back our direction. Very specific ways to do that. But, hey, NCAA tournament's going to be played in NBA arenas. It's going to be played with, different ball, new ball. Like, you're going to go on road arenas in the Big Ten that you've never been in. Some teams use a different ball. And so I just – no, I guess. I get it, and I appreciate the question, but I think, you just got to be tough, step up, and knock it down, and that's the type of guys we have, and that's what they're going to do.
And breaking that down even further, is it individuals have different good shots, good looks, and that has to be part of the whole equation?
Yeah, playing to your strengths is important, I think, for teams to be efficient offensively. There's no question. And, when we've been doing that at a high level, we've been really efficient. I think at times in the flow of the game, we've taken some tough shots, certainly, and that's part of, I think, the first third of the season is really, we talk about it, we define it, but again, when you're in game in those moments and you want guys playing with freedom and being aggressive, it's hard to maybe bat 1,000 in those moments. So we got to keep getting better at those small decisions. And I tell guys, my biggest thing is, it's got to be on our terms offensively. We can't let the defense dictate what we're doing. We need to dictate what we're doing. And if we miss those type of shots, you know what? So be it. But there's been times where we've let the defense, I think, speed us up into taking some shots that, aren't as good as what we could get if we grind out the possession a little bit more, because we have that much firepower offensively. If we didn't have that much firepower, that might not be the case. But I really think we do. We just got to get, we got to get more of those opportunities. And listen, some guys just got to step up and make them too.
When I look at Christoph Tilley, just his effort, I thought was outstanding last ball game. Competed, actually took a really big time shot in the jaw, big time. But his last couple of years before he comes to Ohio State, he's over 30% beyond the arc. The shots that he's taken, I think they're within, from my vantage point, well within the offense. It seemed like his technique is great. Coach, you don't want to overthink this, but is it just a matter of time, or is there certain things that maybe you've seen that he's doing that having him shooting sub 15% from beyond the arc? Because he's a better shooter than that.
Yeah, I think all of that, yes. I think there's some little things that can help him, and we've been working on those. And I think he's shot it better in practice. And then I also think not settling is important too, because he's been so dynamic driving it, and kind of when those threes come, there's but yes, you can't have him overthink it. You can't but we also, I think we got to keep, for us in general, we got to keep playing through the paint. And by that, as good as we've been from two and as good as we've been at the free throw line, that will open up some great opportunities, I think, on the perimeter for us, because now we're making teams adjust to us more.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at SafeLight.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Toyotathon is on. Get in the spirit of the season with a new Toyota. Now through January 5th, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Corollas and Corolla hybrids. Excludes GR and Corolla Cross. Or lease a gas-powered 26 Corolla LE for $199 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
'Tis the season to be hungry at Roosters. That's why for every $50 spent on Roosters gift cards, you'll receive a $10 Rooster Buck back in your stocking. May your holidays be filled with friends and family, love and laughter, and of course, Roosters Wings. Go to roosterswings.com today or drop by any Roosters location to purchase your $50 holiday gift cards and receive a $10 Rooster Buck in return. Happy holidays from all of us at Roosters. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
The Roosters Foundation helps raise over $1 million each year for local charities and organizations and is the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes. The Roosters Foundation is donating $25 for every foul shot the Buckeyes make at home this season to the Down Syndrome Association of Central Ohio. Welcome back to our show with Coach Jake Diebler. As Ohio State gets ready to host Grambling State tomorrow. That'll be a 2 o'clock game, 2 in the afternoon at the Baguio City Arena. Let's talk about something that went well on Saturday. Amari Bynum makes his first start, 11 points. He's able to get, look real quick, 6 rebounds. It certainly seemed as though he delivered what you had hoped he would.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Amari, I've talked about how he approaches the game and why he's continuing to get better. He's such a joy to coach because you can coach him hard. He's tough. He's got all the characteristics of a special elite player. And I actually, I coached him pretty hard after the game because I thought, although he was productive, there were some things he needed to do better. And the great thing about him is he showed up the next day and had a great practice, and responded. So I think now we're at the point where, you don't have to really coach him like a young player because he has the maturity and the approach where he can be coached like the really, really important player he is for our team. And I love that about him. So he was productive, and he's got to continue to get better on the defensive side for us. And, I love where he's at right now because I think the ceiling is it's hard to see the ceiling for him because it's way up there. He's just got to as long as he keeps the same approach, he's going to be so impactful continue to be impactful and be so impactful for us the rest of the year.
When you look at his role prior to this game, Coach, it was one coming off the bench. And I know in the game against Illinois, they had an advantage there, but 15-2 advantage. And then in the game, by putting him in the lineup against North Carolina, it was a goose egg off the bench. So what are the challenges of putting someone like him in the lineup to help get a better start, but you lose that bounce off your bench? What are some of the thoughts in trying to take care of both of those?
Yeah, it's I think when I decided to make the change, it was twofold. One, Amari earned it, and his energy I felt like could help us start, and his size defensively could help us. I also felt like we had kind of had Brandon in that role, and it's been hard for him to find his rhythm. So I thought maybe and he and I talked about. I said, hey, let's use this. You be really aggressive for us when you come in, and I thought he was aggressive. He looked for his offense, and he missed. He had that great move, missed the finish. He had good look from 3. He was more active. I think he's going to play better, and be more productive, I should say. I'm confident in that, and I think that'll help provide, because it's hard when you don't get any scoring from your bench. It's hard. We also need some other guys who are checking in to be more aggressive offensively, and they can't go in and we don't want to play safe. Right, we want to be aggressive. We want to go attack to win, and we got to get that. Like, couple guys when they check in, they got to play with that mentality more.
We saw during the game Saturday where you played your 2 7-footers together at the same time, and certainly North Carolina's size probably had a lot to do with that. But you talked with us right afterwards how you thought Ivan Ugovin gave you some good things that he did out there.
I thought he did. When there's big guys out there, I think that's when he's at his best. He does a great job of kind of protecting the rim for us. He makes people miss. He doesn't necessarily stack up a ton of blocks, but his presence at the rim, his technique without fouling has gotten better, and he makes people miss, and he rebounds. So, and we're comfortable with Tilly. We have a plan when those two are in together offensively and defensively. So it was more this game, I think, presented an opportunity to do it. And I thought those guys did a good job with it, and I think Ivan, in his minutes, like we were positive on the floor. So he's got to continue to get more experience. We got to trust him, especially when we're going up against sides like that. I think it's hard at times when teams are really small, but it felt like he did a great job staying ready and went in and gave us some good stuff.
When you have a game plan, especially against a quality opponent like North Carolina, you want to try to win in the most important things. And two of those that were brought up was rebounding and taking care of the basketball. Coach, only 2 turnovers by your team in the first half, only 4 in the second half. Talk about the efficiency you saw there, and also the fact that you were able to match the rebounding number.
Yeah, I felt, those two things were going to be really critical to be in position to win. And that's where, our guys deserve a lot of credit, because I thought they did a pretty good job. Now, Caleb Wilson he is gifted at rebounding. His athleticism, his second jump is maybe some of the best when you combine that with his size and length, some of the best that I've ever seen.
1 year in college for that guy, probably.
I would assume so. Yes. And he was really active, and I think for the most part, we did a good job rebounding. Some of those were like there were probably 2 or 3 where it was like a 50-50 ball that we got to get. Outside of that, ball bounced a certain way, like pretty happy aside from 2 or 3 of them. And then we took advantage on the other side. I thought we did a good job going. We've been trying to do that more and more and more, and I thought we did a great job going to the offensive glass. We knew we could rebound behind their shot blocking, which Tilly benefited from. That was part of the plan. And it put us in position, to win. I think it boils down to, like, they make 4 more threes than us. Like that's. I'd like us to be a little more aggressive defensively, so we could get teams turned over a little bit more, get some more steals, and get out in the open court. But I thought those 2 things were executed well, for the most part of the game plan.
Kind of going with rebounding, as Ron asked you about, with the way Devin Royal plays, especially on the offensive side when he's working down low, does that not only make him the offensive threat that he is, but also keep him in a good position to do just what you were talking about with offensive rebounding?
Yes, absolutely. And he's a guy that we can take advantage of mismatches, and we can, kind of tilt the board certain ways to get him in size advantages inside at times, or advantage on the perimeter where he's shooting the ball well. So, but yes, he is gifted in the paint when he is in the paint at rebounding, because he anticipates so well. And Ryan, you know this, like some guys just got a great feel for that, and he does. And combine that with his athleticism and his length, and he does a good job.
Coach, I know that player development is very important for you and this program, and getting kids to want to be here, a part of the program, stay in the program, and so forth. When I look at John Mobley Jr., his defense has gotten better, and that takes me to that last possession defensively. I believe his Trimble was driving. He slipped. It was just a weird possession. Thought Tilly was going to get it. It seemed like we kind of paused a little bit because he fell to the floor. But talk about the improved defense of John Mobley Jr. and then just what happened in that defensive possession.
Big-time individual defensive play. You cause that guy who was, had it rolling. We know how important of a piece he is for their team. And, he makes the one falling down the possession before. Yeah. This one he doesn't get the shot off before he falls, and the ball's right there, and John did a great job, You know, we had good gap support, certainly, but he did a great job. I think that's where he's made the biggest improvement defensively is on the ball. He's really guarded the ball well. He's got to continue to improve off the ball. Gave up a couple threes, you know, in the game, just kind of guys started moving, guys got caught watching the ball. Like, he's got to keep growing in, and he has. He's got to keep growing in that. But on the ball, I mean, we got confidence in him. Like, he's guarded the ball well. It's just got to take that next step off the ball.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp. is an equal housing opportunity lender and MLS number 2229.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Picture it, your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps, spiced cider in every glass, laughter around every plate. At Kroger, we know these moments matter, and we make it easier to bring them to life with quality that's affordable in every aisle. This season, don't just host, make every moment unforgettable. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes. Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you. Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hear every Buckeye game every year. The Fan. Your home for Buckeye basketball. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. And welcome back to our show this week. Janet Bucyrus with our next Union Home Mortgage inbox question. You kind of covered, Jake, a little bit of this before, but beside getting a win, some of the biggest things you could take away from last Saturday to get ready for this matchup tomorrow with Grambling State.
Yeah, well, I think, the two things that were important going to the North Carolina game are going to be important in this game, and it starts with taking care of the ball, and it starts with kind of the battle of the paint. Those two areas we got to be really good at to beat Grambling, and then I think the glass is an area where we have to take advantage of. So that's those are the games with the game, and I think it's important. We got to guard without fouling. They're really aggressive and play for a lot of fouls, but they're also a team who fouls a lot. So we got to be aggressive on the other end and get to the free throw line. I think that, watching those kind of numbers within the game develop are going to be important.
Coach, I want to go back to North Carolina. A lot of preparation for a team like them with so much talent. What were some of the additional challenges with that? Obviously, Caleb Wilson's very good, but they had high size in different positions. What were some of the issues that you had to prepare your team for?
Yeah, well, I think, their 4s and 5s are really good, and there's no denying it. Those two guys, they play well together. They both can pass. And I think that's impressive. And they play through them. Now, the addition of Trimble that's a different dynamic. He was 0 for 7, I think.
Coming into the game from 3.
Mm-hmm. Him hitting those 3 threes, like that's a player stepping up in big time game, right? That's what that is. And so we knew he was going to be a big part of what they were going to do offensively because we got a lot of respect for what he's capable of. And I thought that was, that preparation, that changed because there wasn't as much tape on that because he missed significant stretch. But, yeah, I mean, we anticipated their size being, really important for him. And we knew Visar could make a shot, and it was important not to let him get a rhythm because once he did that, his shot, looked better. And so we weren't perfect in those areas, certainly. I was disappointed. Those guys got 80 offensive rebounds. I think 4 or 5 would have been more appropriate. That was kind of those few possessions I talked about earlier, where it's 50-50 ball that we got to get.
This was a big week for Bruce Thornton. His high school number gets retired on Tuesday last week. He's going back to his hometown to play for the 3rd straight year. He graduated, by the way, over the course of the weekend, too, I believe, if I read that correctly. When a guy's got all of that kind of going on, and this is, an incredibly experienced and talented player, do you even talk to him about keeping it in the proper perspective or soaking it up as much as you can?
That guy's laser focused. So if anybody can't get rattled, it would be him. He earned those things. I mean, it was a great. My wife and I went to the celebration of his jersey retirement, and it was great. Milton did a great job, and it was awesome just to kind of see him and his family in that space, and it worked around our schedule to make it happen. And then, yesterday was a special day for him to, get a degree from The Ohio State University, and how that's going to impact him for the rest of his life. Like, that was a special day and something we celebrated as a team, because I want that for all our guys, because that's lifelong impacting stuff. And it was a different week. I don't know, I don't think it had anything to do with the game because he prepares so hard and so well, but we're really happy for him to be able to have those two things.
It's somewhat of his senior night, if you will, 40-plus people there. It's back-to-back years going to Atlanta, and I know he's super focused, but he's a human being, right? So you try to bottle that in just like you would on senior night. You got to enjoy the moment of celebrating with your mom and dad and your family, but there's a game to be played. Easier said than done sometimes.
I think it's the biggest challenge for, young people, young athletes, is you have to do just that. There's so much going on outside. You have to live in the moment. You got to just be present and just focus on that moment. And he's human, but I think he's done that just about as well as you could ask a young person to do. And I think for the most part, our guy, we got a team that's doing that pretty good. We got to keep growing in that area, but it's part of it.
Bruce seems to be one of those guys that displays that he's having fun playing. Important for everybody to have fun.
Joy is one of our values. It's a little different than fun, but I want our guys to approach the game with great. This is a game. We recruit guys who love the game, and we got a staff full of guys who love the game, who have been lifers around the game, and like, I enjoy going to practice every day. I enjoy being around this team every day. I enjoy coming to work. I want our guys to have joy when they walk into this building, and especially on game day. It's not void of tough, aggressive, like that stuff has to be there. And we've talked a lot about the difference between happiness and joy, and so our guys know what it looks like, feels like, and I think most of them do a good job in that area.
Coach, when you look at the adjustments that you have to make in the game as a coach. And one of them is, to your point about Trimble and also the game against West Virginia, you had guys coming in there in the opposition that did not shoot well from the outside. So instead of going underneath, over the screen, you're going underneath because you would prefer for them to shoot the outside shot. When do you make those adjustments? Because obviously the scouting report says they're not effective, but, hey, they're making shots. How does that impact your adjustments throughout the rest of the game?
I think it's right. This is where analytics come into play. Part of it, certainly, there's coach's feel, and how those two things blend together is something I think every coach has to evaluate. They shot below 30% from three, so problem is we shot 20. Like that's what that's what hurt, and so again, you're evaluating the things that you can control, and I think there was certainly one of Trimble's threes that he got that, we didn't execute a communication detail that we do every day. That one shouldn't have happened, regardless of what he shot from three going into the game. Those are the things, like, we watch that. Like, hey, this cost us because we didn't do our job here. So, and like I said, offensively for us on the flip side, when we're talking threes, we're evaluating, right, the right threes versus the ones that, like, and getting that tilted more in the right direction. So I think in the moment you got to – and listen, sometimes there's also, like, guys get on a heater and you got to adjust, right? Like, you can't – no matter how many threes a guy's missed, if he gets it rolling, you got to, like, okay, now he's hit two, we got to adjust, right? So that's part of it. Our guys have shown an ability to adjust in game really well, and I'm really excited about how that's going to serve us, as the season goes on.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler with our show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Don't miss a minute of the Ohio State football postseason presented by CareSource, Kroger, and Spectrum. Celebrate the culmination of the 2025 season with all of Buckeye Nation and follow along on the official athletic site. From the opening postseason kickoff to the final whistle in Miami, we have you covered. It's the 2025 Ohio State football postseason presented by CareSource, Kroger, and Spectrum. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/postseason central 2025 now for more information. Go Bucks!
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Toyota Thona's on, and there's no better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota, like the best-selling Toyota Camry. Now through January 5th, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Camrys, or lease a new 26 Camry LE for $269 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details, or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Tis the season to be hungry at Roosters. That's why for every $50 spent on Roosters gift cards, you'll receive a $10 Rooster Buck back in your stocking. May your holidays be filled with friends and family, love and laughter, and of course, Roosters Wings. Go to roosterswings.com today or drop by any Roosters location to purchase your $50 holiday gift cards and receive a $10 Rooster Buck in return. Happy holidays from all of us at Roosters. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. Home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners American Electric Power, Kroger, Donato's, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus. And supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/BuckeyesCare. And welcome back to our show with Coach Jake Diebler. You mentioned it a little earlier, but want to go back to the fact that you had a successful challenge in the game Saturday on an out-of-bounds play. It was called at first North Carolina ball, but was reversed and gave you the possession. Walk us through, first off, just the whole process and trying to determine that. And do you like having a challenge now this year?
I do like having the challenge. Yeah, I think it's been good for us. I felt like I had a great view of that one, kind of where I was at. So I was really confident. Then, you kind of look behind, get some confirmation. Those guys never can be 100% because the film just takes a second to get there. But they had a good enough angle. They felt good. And you got to take the players' input into consideration. I've told our guys, I said, listen, I trust you, but you got to be sure. If you're not sure, just say so. Right. Our guys were sure on that one. So that one actually wasn't very hard because it started with my viewpoint. I felt like I had a pretty good view of it. And then you kind of work through guys behind me, guys on the court. Everybody kind of felt the same way.
Yeah, and I would imagine time of game when there's a decision to do it or not, why take the chance of risking it in the first half versus maybe this possession is crucial. You're ready to roll the dice there and whether you win or not because it's so important at juncture of the game.
I think you want to be really sure if you use one in the first half or in the first half or the second half. You got to be not really sure. You got to be 100% sure. 100%. Then as it gets down to the end of the game, I think you're evaluating too. It might be a situation where you use a timeout anyway. So if it's really close, you're not 100% sure, maybe you use the challenge there because you want that timeout kind of regardless. Right. So, but I think it's beneficial, especially the way they change the rules, the lack of going to the monitor now in the last couple minutes. You want to, if you can, you want to hold that challenge for the end.
There is a lack of that? Well, it sure doesn't feel like it sometimes.
It's a little better than the past. Yeah,
okay.
A little better.
Well, we're still early in the year. Going from last week, you had a week between games, to now you get a quick turnaround. Just how you work the time frame with you. You mentioned getting right back in here yesterday and getting after things.
Yeah, trust the sports science behind it. Trust we spend a lot of time on recovery to get our guys ready to go the next day, and it's gauging kind of where we are physically and stuff, and mentally and emotionally. Like you're kind of considering all of those things on what you do the next day, including what you need to cover in preparation and how to appropriately cover that. So, taking all that stuff into consideration, I feel like we had a great day yesterday. Got a really good plan today that we got to go out and execute on the court, and then we'll be ready to go.
Before I ask this question, I want to make sure I get permission. We are allowed to talk about guys that have officially signed.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. So I know it's early into the high school.
Ron asking for permission, like he's home with his parents.
Well, you get in trouble with this stuff.
We understand.
Anthony Thompson, I know it's early in his last high school year, but how's he playing so far?
Really well. Really well. I mean, he is dynamic. Scores it at multiple levels, can really shoot it, and his defense he can be game-changing defensively with his size and instincts. We follow our committed guys every step of the way, and he's been great. Alex Smith is doing really well down at Prolific Prep. His coaches just rave about how tough he's playing, the basketball instincts he has, and obviously he can really shoot as well. Both those guys got great positional size, so really excited about the two of them and what they're doing so far this year.
Will there be a little bit of a Christmas break for everybody?
Yeah, we'll get a few days off. And we'll kind of, I guess, see how we come out of this game, but physically and all that stuff to determine what that first day back looks like. But our guys are going to get a little bit of stretch here to spend some time with their families and celebrate the holidays.
Paul, with the generosity of our head coach, if you're not able to go and be with your family, his house is open, right?
If you're part of our family, you're part of our family, right? So
there you go.
If you can't get home, come on over.
Well, and that has to be an additional component now with the foreign influence and the overseas influence that happens on teams.
Yeah, my big thing. Sometimes guys have, whether it's friends or they have something they want to do here. Like, that's fine. I just want to make sure everybody who's a part of our program knows, like, our doors are open. You can spend time with family on the holidays.
We appreciate our time with you. Thanks as always, and we look forward to tomorrow afternoon.
All right, thanks, guys. Go Bucks.
That is Ohio State coach Jake Diebler. Thanks for listening to today's show, presented by Roosters and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast. Join us tomorrow as Ohio State hosts Grambling State. Our pregame coverage begins at 1:15 p.m. For Skip Mossick, Jacob Reimer, Ron Stokes, and Coach Jake Diebler, this is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.